Another weekend, another MLS match day, and another set of twists and turns that have derailed so many Sorare scouts and managers across the world. Coming into this weekend for MLS, we actually had a lot on offer with the specialist competition opened up and with some of the, the known jeopardy around some of the rotation already with the likes of Leo Messi and one or two others. This game week, I feel like everyone was coming into MLS with a slightly different strategy with the few options that were there available, but with the different compositions of squads, strength and everything else, everyone really did come into this weekend feeling I've got just as much of a shot as anyone else, and really that's the way the weekend did pan out. Very few of the this will definitely happen actually transpired, and for the third game week in a row we're maybe looking at a new paradigm change maybe coming into MLS, where maybe double defence might actually be the way to go if you're going to be attacking MLS in season or classic on your road to glory. Sorare is five-a-side fantasy football where players compete for cash, cards and a bunch of other in-game items. If you're brand new to Sorare and you haven't opened up your account yet, there's a link in the description in this video. They'll get you $50, pounds, euros, whatever your currency is, of market credit to help you go out there and reinforce your squad. It's genuinely the best way to sign up to Sorare, and if you open a Sorare account and you do so without getting that credit, you're $50, pounds, euros behind everyone else. By clicking on that link, you do support me and all the content here at the channel, so I sincerely thank you if you do so. And if you do get stuck, if you've got any questions, jump into the comment section and I'll come and sort you out, because if you're an MLS fan, if you're a fantasy football fan, this is the place to be. And on this road to glory, I'm taking my ragtag bunch of budget players, mainly centred around New York City FC, with some other players across the league, and we're trying to go from zero to hero. We're going from the bottom to the top. We are on the road to glory, and after match day 3 we got some success to kind of take home for some of the good players that we have scouted so far, and for some of the predictions that managed to come true in this game week. In the video today we'll break down how the weekend went for me, as well as what the plans are going to be for next weekend coming in to match day 4 on the MLS. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and make sure to get into the comment section, guys, and let me know as ever when we're doing these MLS Road to Glory videos. Any hot takeaways from the weekend? Did anyone stand up to be counted, or did anyone who let you down? Who was the hole in your bucket that just poured all those good scores down the drain for you? But yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it, because coming into this game week, NYC were finally at home. It was their home opener of the season, and as we'll come to see with the next match, MLS have did a good job of looking after NYC in their 10-year anniversary by getting some proper nostalgia matches. NYC's opening match of their franchise history was like a day or two before my birthday. I do remember it quite well, believe it or not, and it was against Orlando. It was a very memorable one each draw, as it were. And it was Orlando where we're taking on in this weekend. And I'd laid my teams out to make sure that we were going to be NYC focused against Orlando. And then I was trying to mix and match my other guys around my second in-season squad, and then trying to play with some of my classic cards to try and hopefully, try and win some in-season cards that can reinforce the ranks that I've got. But right before the deadline on Friday, I went out and I bought my third Sean Johnson rare NYC old version card, which I've got a very good collection bonus for. And that meant going into the weekend here, if you just look at the 6 squads that we had 6 squads in rare. We even had a limited squad with a limited mat 3, so I actually had 7 budget squads going out there, 3 in classic and 3 in season. You can see the scores here and how it all did shake out. We got some nice discovery for a bit of the New York City strategy, with the likes of Julian Fernandez getting the start. Ojeda was meant to get the start but was late to train, or was late to the game or whatever. Hannes Wolf got the start in the end, so we got some nice little developments. NYC went on and won this game by 2-1, but sadly the scores overall just weren't that great. There was a combination we could have got in here if we'd had perfect 2020 hindsight vision, but there was not really a good defender to be found. There was a midfielder or two we could have used, and 3 forwards all popped off. But this squad in Division 2 that was going for the hot streak was so close to just getting the job done. Had New York City held on to get that clean sheet, our Matt Freeze would have scored a lot more points, as well as both of our defenders, and finishing on 314, we could have maybe just about got the hot streak locked in for this game week here with the New York City stack. But as you can see, the second team that we picked this game week is actually getting promoted, thanks to Henry Kessler, who got an assist really early in this game. They went on to win 3-0 against the Galaxy, and he brought in an 84-point raw score, which was absolutely fantastic. And Gutierrez came back from suspension, didn't do too good on a 43. Sean John conceding 2, brought in a 56. That is vintage Sean John. And now we've got 2 teams next week into Division 2, and this offers us a nice option to play a bit of, to play both sides of the fence. You know, have a bit of a risky team, have a bit of a safer team, with both having the hopes of trying to get into Division 1. And as you can see, the reserve squad, or the American cash reserves as I've called it here, that we activated by bringing in that Sean Johnson, didn't really get off the ground. Sadly, Jaden Nelson didn't appear. That was kind of in the offing. It was to be expected. But I was surprised by Burke Risa's DNP, and I was really glad that I didn't put Burke Risa in one of my priority teams after him doing a little bit better in the first match day. So a little lesson there for kind of sticking to your guns of who is where in your own depth chart. And with the classic cards, we had some good performances, but nothing exceptional. You know, we found ourselves back in double Division 2 after starting off double Division 1 after game week 1. And really, none of the scores really fell the way we wanted to. Even the NYC stack didn't really score that great, with us having Captain Maxey, Alonso Martinez, Hannes Wolf. We managed to catch enough of the action here, but the field beat us on this one. 343 was just not going to be enough to do anything, not even to gain promotion. And Gold got a terrible injury in this game. He left the pitch after 24 minutes, and there's a lot of fear that his season could be over. And with the emergence of Amundsen and one or two of the other classic cards we've got in and around here that are not New York City, losing Gold is a huge blow if we're ever going to be in Division 1. We need guys like that that can really smash and really deliver from midfield in particular. We've got some decent defenders. We've got enough goalkeepers. Although there's only 2 of them, we've got 3 copies of each. And with double Abadas and Wolves and Choupo-Mottings and whatever, we've probably just about got enough firepower. So this Gold has put huge pressure on my classic midfield now for probably the rest of the season. And really looking at who is in reserve in the squad here, maybe I did captain Johnny Shore in a training team, and he did exceptionally well. I don't think he's going to start that regularly. Lovely rookie card that it is. But as you can see, my reserves here, there's not much going on to fill the void on the way up. So this is a position that we might need to reinforce. We might need to get a replacement in for Gold to cover that, to kind of help carry that load for him in his absence. But I've still got a full focus on the in-season stuff. I'm quite glad with how we're managing. I've not really had any DNPs, and I've maybe not had too many DNP merchants, those random guys that have been catching people out. And my time will come. DNPs will get me, don't get me wrong. But I'm quite glad with I've managed to, call the good games. I've managed to, pick the right guys for the most part. And coming into this next current match day, where there is so much on, I think there's a bit of MLS involved in the Super Clash special weekly that we've got going on this game week. I think it might be the Galaxy's match or something like that. Yeah, Inter Miami and Atlanta United. Yeah, so not really affecting me, but that might take some Messis, some Suarez's and co out of the equation. But if we go and we have a look at the MLS competition coming into the game week, we're going to be listing our guys out. We've got 2 in-season teams in Division 2, of course, and we're going to be going after Classic in a big way as well. We need to get back into Division 1 because Division 2 is just not going to be that great for us. We've managed to get promoted, and we're going to get a little bit of essence thanks to the Kessler team, which is nice. But we need to do better than that. We need to be scooping more and more wins as quickly as possible so that we can really capitalise upon the in-season teams that we've built. And coming into this weekend, looking at the top priority team, we've got Matt Freese and we've got Sean Johnson. A nice clean 50-50 decision. Of course, for the top team, we're taking in-season Freese because it's the only reason that we've bought him in. And the decision comes, do we want to field a classic card or not? I would like to keep this team hot streak focused, hot streak capable. And that really does point towards bringing in Henry Kessler into this one. At home, Seattle Sounders will be playing midweek. He's got a great L5, and even if you take into, L3 is probably the better way of putting it. But his L5 would be a lot better if he didn't have that OG there. And I did say after watching him, Kessler is a quality player in MLS, one that I used to have a super rare for, I'm very familiar with. And it feels like he has really settled at St. Louis. So I'm not as hung up on this being an NYC stack if we can get a clear upgrade in defence there, Kessler versus, don't get me wrong, at home to New England, maybe Thiago Martins can do okay, maybe Ilinic can do okay, but I'm not holding my breath on it. I'm actually really chuffed to play Kessler at home to a team like Seattle. And then in midfield, by the way, there's a really interesting dynamic here because the hot streak, the first target isn't that high, so there is room to play somebody like a Hack or a Parks, a guy that should just clock in around the 50 mark. And these guys are both big strapping lads. I know that they go up for corners. I know at home for New York, the way their pitch is, these guys can get around the pitch a little bit better. They're just slightly better at home than they are away. And I know it's a second away day on the road for Chicago, but Toronto have been leaking chances like mad. And if Brian Gutierrez was going to step up and rinse somebody, it could quite easily be Toronto. So I think I might want to stick him into this as well. This is where the tricky part comes for us, right? Because in season forwards, Hannes Wolfs has started, right, and he got his goal in the last game. He's looked pretty mince in the first 2 matches, and by all accounts, he wasn't even meant to start this game. It wasn't for Ojeda being late. Ojeda would have started and Wolf would have come off the bench. So I am a little bit worried that corrects itself between now and the weekend, and Hannes Wolf might have some jeopardy over starting, although I don't believe there's much to be concerned about him featuring. I think that'll definitely happen. Whereas Julian Fernandez, big money signing, didn't really work out for him last year, and it does feel that this current manager is focused on bringing him into his own. He played quite a big part in the game at the weekend, and 72 minutes played. I think Julian Fernandez is probably my safest forward that I've got here. Jayden Nelson, we need to see what his injury status is. And with Vancouver playing midweek again, they've got to make sure they're going through in the CONCACAF Champions League. And after having Gauld injured for like a long time, I don't know if Nelson's going to come straight back into this game if he was maybe rested against Montreal to come back in the second leg away to Monterrey. Or now without Gauld, do they maybe just throw the towel in, not play him against Monterrey away, and then just bring him back for the Dallas game? So Jayden Nelson and Hannes Wolf, I really struggle to put both of them in my top team. And I think that makes me take Julian Fernandez. But that only moves the problem into the next spot, because the final position here, I'm not sure there's someone that I'm definitely like, oh yeah, he's man number 5. Like, if I knew Hannes Wolf was going to start, he probably is that guy. But I'm more looking at Parks, Hack and Thiago. I just want for this 5th man, someone to just bring in the 50. Let the rest of the guys do the heavy lifting and just make sure that we ultimately get over the line. I think Hack is the one I've been the most impressed with when I've been watching NYC over the first couple of matches. Thiago Martins is normally quite good at home, and as you can see with his scores there, he doesn't really leave little to he leaves quite little to the imagination. And next week, O'Toole is also suspended, so I could see Gray coming back in at right back and maybe Ilinic go to left back. And again, who knows how that works out for their scores, or even if that is what's to be. Does Ojeda start? Is Ojeda maybe the play? That feels like a bit of a punt, a bit of a gamble, but it certainly could be. But yeah, I think for the 5th man, I'm just taking Hack. I'm just going to be super safe. And I think I have to take Brian Gutierrez as the captain here. Just a guy that could get 10 to 20 AA in a decisive kind of comfortably enough. That feels like a really good dream team there as well. Almost all American, by the way. Just Julian Fernandez, the only non-American in the team. So that's kind of funny how that's worked out. When we come into the American flex team then, I still want to stay with Matt Freese. I think Matt Freese is my number 1 keeper out of the 2 of them. And then putting a bit of an NYC stack around him. Thiago Martins, Keaton Parks, Hannes Wolf, in case he does play, or even if he's effective from the bench. And take someone like Ilinic, who pretty much should be nailed on to play. Could get a wee cheeky decisive. And yeah, double defence could be that new kind of trope, that new kind of mode. Now the Revs have been minging. I don't think they've scored yet this season. I think NYC are going to do a number on them again. And I really don't know who I would be captaining out of this merry bunch of men. Maybe Ilinic, just because, yeah, could get a little bit of everything in this game. And then for this team, I'm going to pick the weakest Sean Johnson with my Burke Risa, Ojeda, and I think it would have to be Jayden Nelson to finish this one off. Maybe just captain the Ojeda. And this is just making sure those guys are getting XP, they're leveling up. And if they do come in, there's a bit of a team to keep them alive there. That's why I got that Sean Johnson in, to make that last lineup happen. So I feel really good across these 3 in seasons. We've got one that's very hot streak capable, but I don't really think it's that weak. It's not like we've really had to be too contrived to put that team together. You know, we have maybe left some classics on the shelf, as it were. If we look at the classic NYC stack we want to run, we'll be putting in our last Matt Freese. Now, normally I would actually be really tempted to put Malte Amundsen back into this squad, but with him playing midweek, he's on great form. He's away to San Diego, who've been okay as well. I don't think I'm going to put him in the top priority team. I think I'm going to keep this like very much NYC stack, and we'll just try and, you know, get a good NYC win and try and capitalise upon any good result that comes for New York. Just make sure we've got a proper team stack in there and try and catch enough of the decisives, try and get the clean sheet there. And let's be honest, against Chicago, Sean Johnson could definitely catch another wee cheeky 57 like he did in the last game week. The defence does get quite lean quite quickly with the injuries to Tavon Gray, the suspension to O'Toole, the injury to Mickey Yaman. He might be back for this one, but I'm not holding my breath on it. But I would put Amundsen in this. I think he will be quite safe, although I am nervous with a wee bit of fixture pile up for him. We've still got plenty of decent midfielder options without Gauld being exceptional, like Forsberg at home to Orlando, and even just sliding Abada in up front at home to Cincinnati could be a pretty good squeeze into this one as well. But that squad isn't that strong, isn't that tough. You know, without having Gauld in this picture, there's definitely been a drop of level in terms of the squad we've got. So I've went back into the market, guys, and I've brought in another classic card to help reinforce the ranks. If you've got a keen eye, you might have spotted them already as I was filling the last team in. And I went out, guys, and I brought in classic Jonathan Bamba. Now, the reason I want his in season is worth having. His in season isn't super expensive or out with reach, right? But I recently got an in-season Jonathan Quinny of Fiorentina for £2 to try and play alongside my Como guys, and I'm still going to try and use that in-season for as long as it is. But after Jonathan Bamba going to MLS and the form Jonathan David's in, I have always been a huge fan of the Leo Jonathans. I won a Jonathan David. It's actually my first star rare on the platform, and I sold it for a lot of money. And when you look at how good he's done, I kind of wish I've brought him back at some point. Is classic in the season that I won the Jonathan David. This season here you see the Jonathan Bamba, and it's also the season Lille won the league in. This is something I want to do when my Iconi ages out, is I want to get the 3 Leo Jonathans in that kit in a wee collection, and we'll maybe get like a 4th or 5th player to make sure we get it to the 2%. But Bamba has really hit the ground running in a big way in MLS, and he's against Sean Johnson, so it's kind of one of those ones where, unless I've really gerrymandered this around to play him in a team with Matt Freeze, which I'm not in any real rush to do, which is a kind of unavoidable we're going to have this game week. But in saying that, as I've got this team laid out and realising that's the reality of the situation, I would maybe even just slide him in here over Abada, because Abada at home at Cincy should be a good game. Maybe do we play him at home over Chupo? I was thinking of maybe playing him up a level here, because he could slay against Toronto, and if we've got Sean John in goal anyway, yeah, let's play Bamba in there. I like that. And then when we play the last team with the Sean John, we don't need to worry about that as much, of course, but we'll have somebody like Abada to call upon up front. So it's just give us a nice extra little flex. We still have a second Abada for that limited team if we want to use him there. And I think I'll put Keaton Parks into this one since we used Hack earlier on. And this team is called Da Boy. If you don't know Sebastian Leggett on Twitter, he is Da Boy. So I love having a wee Leggett squad. We'll captain him into that one. We need to get some essence. We need to get some more cards won out of Classic. And really, like, the gold is a big hit. Bamba doesn't totally carry that weight for him, but it does relieve a bit of the pressure. I feel like we're maybe still going to be on the hunt for another midfielder, perhaps. And you guys know me, I love a wee bit of CR7. 18 quid for a classic. In season is quite punchy. Yeah, that's something we could see ourselves getting into, probably. A wee cheeky CR7. We've got a Seattle collection with the Arriaga, so we need to make sure the seasons line up. That could be a good move. That could be an easy one that we activate. For this game week, I'm not sure bringing him in would make much of a difference, so I'm in no real rush, but I'll be keeping my eyes open on that. And I think, yeah, we might be seeing ourselves into a wee Christian Roldan. The last team of any... We're going to be in Division 2 for this one again, but the last team of any meaning is going to be this limited Matt Freeze, the lineup that he can support and put out there. Defence, not many options. We're probably looking at Ilinic again, but midfield, we've still actually got some fun picks here, like Wolf and Ojeda. Let's just play the Wolf. We've got Bakrar, we've got an Abada. Abada's going to start. I might even play Johnny Shore in this squad and just, let's not rule out. Yeah, let's just make this a wee cheeky NYC stack, and let's just imagine it's a similar team to next week, and yeah, let's just play that in limited for a bit of fun. But yeah, in Classic we've ended up with 2 double forwards and a double mid, and in the in-season thing I've already went over. I think these are up to speed with what we've got going on there. But yeah, I'm actually quite optimistic for that coming into this weekend. NYC at home to the Revs is good, and some of those nice little pieces there like Kessler, Gutierrez. See if Roldan was a little bit cheaper, by the way. That's still got me thinking. I know it's instant buy, but I wonder what his auctions have been going for, and maybe we just keep our eyes open for one coming. Yeah, see if we could get him for around the 40 quid mark. That would be pretty awesome. I'd be quite chuffed with that. In season, or yeah, the Classic is probably my preference for what we need them for. But that in-season utility is definitely not to be sniffed, especially for a guy like this that we know so well and can get those big scores. So we're still on the hunt for another little budget option or two to maybe just reinforce the ranks. But I am quite keen on this starting to yield, this starting to win for us now, because we have 6 squads, you know, across Classic and in-season. We should have a squad on each side of the fence, I would think, that could get up and do something. We've seen it last week with the Kessler team bagging a little bit of essence, getting a promotion for us. Yeah, just really this week we need to see a little bit more of that. And I think maybe this composition here, this 50-50 NYC plus some other guys coming into power stack here with the in-season Freeze goalkeeper, is I think we might just be on for it this week. We did know that some of the fixtures were tougher last week for Gutierrez's and Kesslers and whatever, but with MLS it's just all about knowing the matchups, knowing the players, who is going to play, and just having that sniff of who are the effective players, who are the good ones. that are going to make a difference. Because with how open MLS has been so far, like I said in the intro, it is anyone's game. And I just feel like, again, like all these strategies we've been doing on the channel, like I feel like I've got quite a good rhythm of assembling base camp, you know, the foundations, the bones of what we're going to use to kick on and make the strategy work quite quickly. And then it's just a matter of time. It's maybe a wee bit of a matter of finessing some of these decisions as well, like Jadon Nelson getting injured is suboptimal, obviously, on top of one or two of the other little creases that we spoke about. So it's something that I've not always been able to do because there's been so many things in my gallery going on, is being a bit more agile and a bit more proactive on making sure if this strategy needs one more wee thing just to push it over the top, I feel like I'm in a much better position to do it now. And we're only 3 games into the season, guys. I'm really looking forward to match day 4. It could be a big week for me, getting back into D1, bagging some good cash and all the rest of it. But for anyone who's out there, really, no matter how your first couple of game weeks have went, there has been so much water under the bridge already where you will know a lot more about the strength of your squad, the quality of your players, and if there is anything missing, it will be staring you in the face by now, which is always a good position to be in. You don't want to be twisting in the wind, not really having a feel of, oh, I've not got a defender that can smash, or my captain, I don't really have a guy that I can put the armband around. And there's maybe a bit of a question that will come into it for some of us. I'm going to leave it another week or two, but is the hot streaks worth it? Am I doing myself out for something that I'm not even getting? So this is something I've got one eye on. We'll maybe pick up on that one next week. Now, in the last video, we had a secret giveaway, and I was after one of you guys in the comment sections to tell me, what should I do? Should I go for the specialist or should I go for the core competition? A bunch of you got involved to try and win this Jordan Farr, who is a squint-eyed third-choice goalkeeper, who is really just going to be an in-season keeper that someone can use to submit a lineup to get some XP in, a wee bit of an XP farmer, as it were. So thanks to all 8 of you that found that secret giveaway in the last video for taking part and getting involved. And again, congratulations to whoever has won. There's been no little secret giveaways hidden in this one. I think we'll be saving that for next week, because this week after MLS, it feels like a lot of people are pulling their hair out and maybe going back to the drawing board a little bit. And this time next week, we'll have a bit more of a slightly better sample size. I want to get to match day 5 before kind of going back to that and revisiting it properly with a bit of strategy, because we need a good L5 for some of the players that maybe just moved into the league and that sort of thing. But some of these teams are also playing midweeks, and that's just been a bit messy and a little bit murky. So be sure to stay tuned for more content like that, of course. And congratulations to JBlaze23 on winning the Jordan Farr cross-eyed goalkeeper. Congratulations, mate. On screen and now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more content like this, of course. Stay out of trouble, and I will catch you on the next one.